Admiral Zexathera of the Hegemony Fleet couldn't suppress the clicking sound his mandibles made when amused. Through the viewport of his flagship, he watched the pathetic human vessels approaching, crude metal constructs that looked like they'd been welded together in some backwater garage. The primitive chemical propulsion systems left ugly trails of exhaust behind them, a sure sign of their technological inferiority. "Sub-Commander," Zexathera chittered to his aide, "remind me again why the Council considers these humans a potential threat?" Sub-Commander Velka consulted his datapad with practiced efficiency. "Intelligence reports suggest they've been expanding rapidly across their local systems, Admiral. However, their technology appears to be centuries behind our standard implementations." The Admiral's multiple eyes focused on the approaching human fleet. 12 vessels in total, laughably small compared to his battle group of 47 ships, each one a marvel of hegemony engineering. Plasma shields, quantum tunneling drives, molecular disintegration weapons. The humans had nothing that could even scratch their advanced hulls. "Sir," the communications officer announced, "the humans are broadcasting on primitive radio frequencies. They're demanding our surrender." The bridge erupted in the chittering equivalent of laughter. Zexathera's thorax shook with mirth. These backward creatures, with their chemical rockets and metal hulls, demanding the surrender of the most advanced fleet in this galactic arm. It was almost insulting. "Open a channel," the Admiral commanded, composing himself. "Let's educate these primitives." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a human female in what appeared to be a simple blue uniform. Her face was scarred, her hair graying at the temples, and her eyes held an unsettling intensity that made Zexathera momentarily uncomfortable. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force," she said in accented galactic standard. "You have entered human space without authorization and ignored our warnings to withdraw. Surrender now, or face the consequences." Zexathera recovered his composure quickly. "I am Admiral Zexathera of the Hegemony Third Battle Fleet. Human, your species' arrogance is amusing, but this sector now belongs to the Hegemony. Stand down your primitive vessels and prepare for processing." Admiral Chen's expression didn't change. "We've analyzed your ships, Admiral. Impressive technology. Plasma shielding, energy-based weapons, quantum drives, very advanced. At least, you recognize your inferiority," Zexathera replied smugly. "Oh, we do," Chen continued, and for the first time a slight smile appeared on her lips. "That's why we didn't bother trying to match you." Something in her tone made Zexathera uneasy. "Explain." "You see, Admiral, every species in this galaxy follows the same technological progression. Better shields, stronger weapons, faster drives. It's elegant, efficient, and completely predictable." Chen leaned forward slightly. "Humans have a saying, if you can't be smarter, be crazier." Before Zexathera could respond, his tactical officer's voice cracked with panic. "Admiral, the human vessels are breaking apart." On the screen, the crude human ships were indeed separating, but not from damage. Each vessel was splitting along predetermined lines, revealing something that made Zexathera's blood chill. The pay, ships, had been shells, and now their true contents were visible. Asteroids, massive chunks of rock and metal, each one at least a kilometer across, hurtling toward his fleet at incredible velocity. "Kinetic bombardment!" Admiral Chen's voice came through the speakers, now carrying a note of grim satisfaction. No shields in the galaxy can stop a mountain moving at 10% of light speed. And the beautiful thing about rocks, Admiral? They're free! Zexathera's mind raced. Their plasma shields were designed to deflect energy weapons and small projectiles, not massive chunks of matter moving at relativistic speeds. Evasive maneuvers! All ships! But it was too late. The humans had calculated everything perfectly. The asteroids, accelerated to impossible speeds by massive magnetic rail systems hidden within those primitive ships, struck with the force of stellar phenomena. The first impact against the Hegemony flagship sent shock waves through the hull that liquefied Zexathera's internal organs before he could finish his command. One by one, the pride of the Hegemony fleet was reduced to expanding clouds of superheated plasma and twisted metal. 47 advanced warships representing thousands of years of technological evolution, destroyed by weaponized space debris. In the aftermath, as rescue pods from the few surviving Hegemony vessels transmitted their surrender, Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of her command ship, a converted asteroid mining platform that the aliens had dismissed as a primitive vessel. "Admiral," her communications officer reported, "we're receiving surrender transmissions from the remaining Hegemony ships." Chen nodded grimly. "Accept their surrender, and send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the galaxy just learned that sometimes the oldest solutions are the best solutions." Her tactical officer, a young man who still couldn't quite believe what they'd accomplished, looked up from his station. "Ma'am, how did you know their shields couldn't handle kinetic impact?" Chen smiled, remembering her grandfather's stories about ancient warfare. "Son, every advanced species eventually forgets the fundamentals. They get so focused on energy weapons and fancy tech that they forget what happens when you throw a really big rock really hard." She turned back to the viewport, where the debris of the Hegemony fleet continued to expand into space. "Besides, we humans have been killing each other with rocks for millennia. We just learned to throw them faster." The galaxy had laughed at Earth's primitive technology. But as news of the battle spread across the stars, that laughter quickly turned to nervous whispers. The humans, it seemed, didn't play by the established rules, and that made them the most dangerous species any of them had ever encountered. Sometimes, the Admiral reflected, being too primitive to know what's impossible is the greatest advantage of all.